If you were a kid in the mid-1970s, no matter where you lived in North America, you probably had one thing in common with any other kid. You saw a lot of Star Trek reruns. Despite many of us being born years after the show was canceled for lackluster ratings, in syndication, the show just clicked with young people. And that meant this 10-year-old series received a merchandising boom that was the biggest thing since Planet of the Apes. Hello, my name is Brian, and this is Toy Ventures. This week we're going to count down the top 10 coolest 70s Star Trek toys. Now, before we begin, a disclaimer. This is just my opinion, and you are welcome to disagree with me in the comments and tell me what I missed. I'd really welcome that kind of conversation. Also, if you're new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. This is the kind of content we do every week. So without further ado, let's begin to beam down our top 10 Star Trek toys of the 1970s. Number 10, Colorforms Star Trek Adventure Set. This should come as no surprise. Colorforms are really awesome toys, especially when they hit the right license. And combining it with Star Trek just is perfect. The depiction of the Enterprise bridge is actually quite nice for this era. It's rather screen accurate if you overlook the transporter to the left. The set unintentionally allows you to do some transporter body swapping if you want. If you want to put Spock's head on Kirk's body, you can. It also comes with a variety of spaceships and aliens for the view screen. I would have had a lot of fun with this as a kid. Number 9, the Star Trek Cycle by Worcestor Toys. You know, I'd like to think that there's no better sign of success than seeing something you created slapped on a knockoff big wheel. I mean, that totally tops getting a sandwich named after you. Anyway, this is here for a number of reasons. One, I just think it's silly. And two, Worcester Toy is famous for an item that would not end up on this list, but may end up on a future list, in the form of the dorkiest Star Trek thing I have experienced. No, it's not that helmet or the metal detector. I'm talking about the Worcester Star Trek tea sets, which I don't know who ordered.
Or did.
What kind of little boy has a tea set?
Number 8, the Remco CFS USS Enterprise. I've covered this on the channel before. One of the greatest things about Remco, in my opinion, was their ability to look at a popular toy, copy it, but add a license. And that's exactly what they did with the CSF. Not only did they put out a Batman set like this and a Spider-Man set for some reason, but the USS Enterprise was just brilliant. And during the height of Star Trek mania, this was an exceptionally popular item. Number 7, Mego Star Trek communicators. Okay, let's get this right out of the way. I understand that the electronics these had, it's pretty crude, and you could find better walkie-talkies at a dollar store right now. However, you have to give every credit for the role-play world that Migo was trying to create with these things. These communicators worked, and they linked to a larger communications console. That was pretty amazing for 1975. Number 6, Remco Star Trek Utility Belt. One of the staples of the Remco toy company in the 1970s were its series of utility belts. These were largely inspired by the success of Batman, but they spun it off into other licenses, including The Incredible Hulk and Mickey Mouse. And, well, mileage varied on the characters. However, the Star Trek one is just bullseye. It comes not only with a replica communicator and tricorder, but a disc-firing phaser. And it comes with an awesome Star Trek belt buckle that maybe Mr. Spock is just a bit jealous of. Number 5, AMT Star Trek Bridge Model. AMT released this kit in 1975, and it was really in good company with a lot of their other offerings. And It was actually difficult to pick just one kit that AMT provided for Star Trek. This iconic company had a relationship going back to the production of the television series, where AMT actually created the Galileo model for the series in exchange for the model kit rights. However, the one kit that captured my imagination more than others was this bridge diorama that has a little Kirk, Spock, and McCoy in the Enterprise. I bought one of these when I was 10 and tried to do it, and I mean, the labels had dried up, and it's actually a bad memory, but on the other hand, it's just something that brings me back to that moment in time. Number 4, AHI parachuting Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk. Okay, I admit it, it's not canon. It doesn't even really make a whole heck of a lot of sense. However, this represents a time in licensed toys where companies got a lot of leeway. There wasn't really so much brand managing going on. And that's good and bad. One, you do get just silly, weird toys that sometimes are so inaccurate they have the ship upside down. And other times you get gorgeous card art and a really goofy, fun toy. I'm glad this exists. It never will again. Number 3, Dinky's Star Trek models. Dinky Toys was a UK-based company, and they were kind of the gold standard for die-cast cars when I was a kid. Dinky cars was actually just one of those words kids used, even though they weren't even brand aware. Dinky already had an arrangement with Jerry Anderson's Century 21 Productions, and that's why you see such wonderful things as the Thunderbirds and those Space 1999 Eagles everywhere. But they did gravitate towards Star Trek as it was highly popular in the United Kingdom. Dinky tried to add some features and fun to the Enterprise, including a saucer that shot discs, and it even had a little landing pad where you could pull out a tiny replica of the shuttle in orange. None of it was to scale, but it was fun. Number 2, I have a tie between the Remco electronic phaser and the Mego Star Trek phaser game. The phaser will forever be in the top 10 of science fiction weapons, and my heart feels the same way. I think it's awesome that we had two different companies competing for the same market with different ideas. Remco gave us kind of a light-up projector gun, and Migo gave us a very, perhaps too soon, version of laser tag, and it's super clunky, but it's also at the same time really innovative. Like, they really went there with this brand. And the box art rocks. Number 1, the Mego action figures and Enterprise playset. These figures were not meant for collectors. They were for kids. When Mego got the Star Trek license, which they paid $5,000 for, they were really at their prime creatively. They had a lot of money coming in, and they had hired a lot of young people from art schools who had a passion, and some of them are even Star Trek fans, and it shows in this line. The figures were actually quite durable. This is actually one of my childhood Star Trek figures. I still have all of them. Yes, the aliens are a little weird and off-brand, but this was a toy company in the 1970s, and they really just had license to do whatever they want. The bridge playset is probably the least accurate of the toys. However, Mego designer John McNett created a gimmick that proved to be incredibly popular in the form of the transporter toy. It was simple, effective, and it's really never been surpassed. So there, my friends, is my top 10 Star Trek toys of the 70s. What did I miss? What do you think I should have included? Let me know in the comments below, or hit me up in our Facebook group, PlaidStallions, where this is an important discussion, trust me. That's going to be it for me this week. If you are new to this, please consider hitting like and subscribe. We do this every week. If you aren't new to this, thanks for watching it to the end, and please share it with a friend. Until next time, be well and talk toys, not other people. Cheers.